Hello everyone and welcome back to Physics Concepts. If you're new here, we break down complex physics topics into simple, easy-to-understand explanations. Today, we re-diving into a fascinating topic that bridges physics and medicine, Bragg's law and X-ray diffraction. Have you ever wondered how scientists can see the arrangement of atoms inside a crystal? Or how we can analyze the structure of something as complex as a DNA molecule? The answer lies in this brilliant principle. Imagine you have a set of perfectly parallel mirrors. If you shine a light beam at them, the light will reflect. Now, what if these mirrors were incredibly tiny, spaced just right, and you used a special kind of light? This is the core idea behind X-ray diffraction in crystals. Crystals, like salt or a diamond, are not just solid lumps. On an atomic level, they are highly organized, with atoms arranged in neat, repeating layers or planes. Think of it like a perfectly stacked pile of oranges at the grocery store. These atomic layers act like our tiny mirrors. Now, let's talk about the special light. We use X-rays. Why X-rays? Because their wavelength is very short, on the same order of magnitude as the spacing between atoms in a crystal. This is crucial. If you tried to use visible light, its waves would be too long to interact with the tiny atomic planes effectively. It would be like trying to measure the thickness of a single hair with a yardstick. It just wouldn't work. X-rays have the perfect wavelength to see the atomic structure. So we have our crystal with its atomic planes, and we have our X-rays. Some of the X-rays will pass right through, but some will interact with the atoms and scatter in all directions. The term we use is diffraction. However, we're most interested in the X-rays that reflect off the different layers of atoms within the crystal. Imagine one X-ray wave hitting the top layer of atoms and reflecting. Another wave travels a bit deeper, hits the second layer of atoms, and then reflects. Here's where it gets clever. Because of this extra travel distance, the two reflected waves might now be out of sync. This is called interference. Sometimes the crest of one wave lines up with the trough of another, and they cancel each other out. This is destructive interference, and we detect nothing. But, under very specific conditions, the crests of both reflected waves line up perfectly. They add together, creating a much stronger wave. This is called constructive interference. It is like two people pushing a swing at just the right time to make it go higher. It gives us the exact condition needed for that constructive interference to happen. The law was formulated by the father and son team, William Henry Bragg and William Lawrence Bragg, who won a Nobel Prize for this work. The equation is beautifully simple. N lambda equals 2d sine theta. Let's break that down. N is just an integer, like 1, 2, or 3, representing the order of the reflection. Lambda, the Greek letter lambda, stands for the wavelength of the X-rays we are using. Constructive interference will only occur at specific angles, theta. If you change the angle even slightly, the waves will no longer line up, and the strong reflection disappears. In a real experiment, we place a crystal on a device called a goniometer, which can rotate it very precisely. We fire a beam of X-rays at it and have a detector that moves around the crystal to catch the diffracted beams. By slowly rotating the crystal and moving the detector, we can find the exact angles where we get these strong reflections or bright spots. Each bright spot we detect corresponds to a specific set of atomic planes that satisfied Bragg's law. By measuring the angles of all these different spots, we can work backward using the equation. Since we know the wavelength of the X-rays we used and we've measured the angles, we can calculate the d values, the spacings between all the different sets of atomic planes inside the crystal. This collection of spots creates a unique diffraction pattern, which is like a fingerprint for the crystal. From this pattern, scientists can reconstruct a complete three-dimensional map of where every single atom is located. It's an incredibly powerful technique. Now, let's connect this to the world of medical physics. How is this used to help us? One of the most famous and impactful applications was in discovering the structure of DNA. In the 1950s, Rosalind Franklin used X-ray diffraction to study crystallized DNA fibers. She produced a famous image known as Photo 51. This image was a diffraction pattern showing a distinct X shape. This pattern was the crucial clue that told Francis Crick and James Watson that DNA had a helical or spiral structure. By analyzing the distances between the spots in the pattern, they were able to build their now famous double helix model of DNA. Understanding DNA's structure opened the door to modern genetics and molecular biology, revolutionizing medicine. The applications don't stop there. X-ray diffraction is essential in pharmacology for drug development. Before a new drug can be approved, scientists need to understand exactly how it works at a molecular level. Many drugs work by binding to specific proteins in our body, like a key fitting into a lock. To design an effective drug, you need to know the exact 3D shape of that protein's lock, or its active site. Scientists crystallize the target protein and use X-ray diffraction to determine its precise atomic structure. With this 3D map, they can then design a drug molecule that will fit perfectly into the protein and either block it or activate it as needed. This process, known as structure-based drug design, makes the development of new medicines faster and much more efficient. Another important area is in studying diseases. Some diseases, like Alzheimer's or sickle cell anemia, are related to misfolded or abnormal proteins. For example, in sickle cell anemia, a tiny change in the hemoglobin protein causes it to form long, rigid fibers that deform red blood cells. X-ray diffraction allows researchers to study the structure of both the normal and the diseased proteins. By comparing the two, they can understand what goes wrong at the molecular level, which is the first step toward developing treatments. It's also used in biomaterials. When doctors use implants, like artificial hips or dental implants, the material they use is critical. The surface of the implant needs to interact correctly with the body's tissues. X-ray diffraction is used to analyze the crystalline structure of these materials, like titanium alloys or specific ceramics, to ensure they have the right properties for strength, durability, and biocompatibility. For example, a material called hydroxyapatite has a crystal structure very similar to our own bone mineral. So let's recap what we've learned. A crystal is an ordered, repeating arrangement of atoms in layers. We can probe this structure using X-rays because their wavelength is similar to the spacing between atoms. When X-rays reflect off these atomic layers, they can interfere with each other. Bragg's law, n equals 2d sin theta, gives us the exact condition for constructive interference, where the reflected waves add up to create a strong signal. By measuring the angles where these strong signals occur, we can determine the spacing between the atomic planes. This allows us to map out the entire 3D atomic structure of a substance. And this powerful technique is fundamental in medical physics. From discovering the structure of DNA to designing life-saving drugs and developing better medical implants. It's a perfect example of how a fundamental principle in physics has had a monumental impact on biology and medicine. Thank you so much for joining us today on Physics Concepts. I hope this explanation made Bragg's law and X-ray diffraction crystal clear for you. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next exploration into the amazing world of physics. If you have any questions or ideas for future topics, drop them in the comments below. We'll see you in the next video.